There are seven continents, students. We have gone through seven continents. They are Asia, Europe, Africa, North America, South America, Australia, and Antarctica. Today we'll study about oceans. The blue color portion you can see on the map that is marked as oceans. There are five oceans. The large masses of water that separates the continents are called as oceans. The large masses of water that separates the continents are called as oceans. The floor of the ocean is made up of flat plains. The floor of the ocean is made up of flat plains. Deep craters, deeper than the Mount Everest height, and valleys lie inside the oceans. Yes, as we have height like Mount Everest, such a deep is there inside the water also. There are five major oceans on the earth: the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean, and the Southern Antarctic Ocean. So I'll show with the help of this arrow. See students, this you can see Pacific Ocean. This is Pacific Ocean. This is Atlantic Ocean. This is Arctic Ocean, and this is Indian Ocean near India. Students, can you see? And this is Southern Ocean. So these are the major oceans on this world. Now, in one sentence, I'll brief you about all the oceans. The Pacific Ocean is the biggest ocean and the deepest ocean. Yes, students, Pacific Ocean is the biggest and the deepest ocean. It is so big that all continents can get submerged in it. Yes, it is so big that all the continents can get submerged in it. The world's deepest trench is in the Pacific Ocean. Yes, and the world's deepest trench means deepest place on this earth is in Pacific Ocean. Students. Next is the Atlantic Ocean. So Pacific is the biggest ocean. Second largest ocean is Atlantic Ocean. Atlantic Ocean you can see between North America, South America, and the Europe and Africa. It lies between these four continents. The busiest ocean for trade and commerce. Yes, the Atlantic Ocean is busiest. Is famous for its business and trade relations. Commerce means trade. The thousands of ships travel to the ocean every day. Yes, thousands of ships travel to this Atlantic Ocean every day. It is an S-shaped ocean. Yes, and the Atlantic Ocean is given as a S-shaped. S-shape is found. Next largest ocean is the Indian Ocean. It is named after our country, India. It is the only ocean to be named after a country. Yes, it is only the ocean that is named after a country. Many Europeans sailed on this ocean to discover India. Yes, they sailed means they moved around to find out the sea route to India. And it was Vasco da Gama who founded the sea route to India. The land of spices, the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal are its important parts. Yes, India is known for its spices. Spices, you understand, students? Mirch masala, just long, kali mirch. India is famous for these things. So it is called as land of spices, students. So this was about the Indian Ocean. You all know Indian Ocean is located in the south of India, southern part of India, near the Sri Lanka. We can see it. And Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal are the part of Indian Ocean. Now, the third ocean is the Southern Ocean. You can see near the Atlantic, Antarctica. The Southern Ocean surrounds the white continent of Antarctica. It remains frozen throughout the year. Why frozen? Because it is covered with the snow. So it remains frozen throughout the year. So Southern Ocean is near the Antarctica and it is frozen because of snow. And the last ocean is Arctic Ocean. Arctic Ocean is towards the North Pole. It is the smallest ocean. You can see on the map on the top, students, there is Arctic Ocean. It is the smallest ocean. It is mostly frozen throughout the year. Yes. Like the Southern Ocean, it is also frozen. Why? Because it is near the poles, and near the poles we don't find much sunlight. So it is frozen like Southern Ocean. The bodies of water that are smaller than oceans are called seas. Yes, students, you should know what are seas. The large water bodies are called as oceans, and water bodies that are smaller than oceans are called as seas. Seas, as Arabian Sea we have in India. Seas are surrounded by land. Yes. And for sea, they are surrounded by four such land masses that are countries. Arabian Sea, Mediterranean Sea, Black Sea, Dead Sea are some of the examples of the important sea of the world. Yes, we have Arabian Sea in India. So these were students about the oceans. Now we move towards the next about the latitudes, lat- latitude and longitudes. Yes, students. So latitudes. Latitudes are also known as parallels. You can see the lines running east to west direction are called as latitudes. They measure distance from north to south from the equator. Students, you can see the red color line. It is the equator, and it measures the distance from north to south. And equator cross the prime meridian at right angles. They lie in planes that cross the Earth's axis at right angles. The latitudes also get shorter toward the poles. You can see the circles at the pole, it's very small, and near the equator they are larger. So they get shorter towards the poles, and only with the equator the longest great circle. Yes, near the equator they are in greater circles. So total there are 180 latitudes. Uh, they start from 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 and 90. So 19 the northern hemisphere and 19 southern hemisphere. So total there are 180 latitudes. Now we move towards the longitude. Longitudes are also known as meridians. Yes, they are also as latitudes are known as parallels, longitudes are known as meridians. They run in north-south directions. As latitudes they run in east-west directions, longitudes run in north-south directions. They measure distance east or west of the prime meridian. You can see the red line. This is the prime meridian student. It is found in London. Okay, and in latitude we take the distance from equator. Here we take it, divides the earth into two hemispheres, that is western hemisphere and eastern hemisphere. Prime meridian divides the earth into western and eastern hemisphere. Farthest apart from the equator and meet at the poles. They meet at the poles. Lie in planes that pass through the earth's axis. They are equal in length. These longitudes are equal in length, and they have halves of great circles, and they are of equal circles. See, the earth moves around the sun on its own path. It is called the orbit. And this motion of the earth is called revolution. Now we'll study about the rotation and revolution. We have gone through the latitudes and longitudes of the earth. Yes, rotation and revolution, students. See, there are two types of motions on the earth. That is rotation and the revolution. Rotation. It is the spinning movement of earth on its axis. Yes. Rotation is the spinning movement of earth on its axis. The axis is an imaginary line that runs from the center of the earth to the poles. Axis is the imaginary lines that runs from the center of the earth to the poles. This axis is tilted at an angle of 66.5 degree to the plane of Earth's orbit. This axis is tilted at an angle of 66.5 degree to the plane of Earth's orbit. The Earth rotates on its axis. The spinning of Earth on its axis is called rotation. So students, what is the rotation? The spinning of the Earth on its axis is called rotation. And each rotation takes 24 hours or 1 day. The rotation of the earth on its axis causes day and night. The rotation of the earth causes day and night. 24 hours is just 1 day on the earth. While rotating, the part of the earth that faces the sun have day. Yes. While rotating, the part of the earth which faces the sun is the day, and which is away from the sun, that is the night. Different places of the world have different times due to rotation of the earth. Different places on the earth have different times because of this rotation of the earth. Rotation also causes tides in the oceans. Yes, it's the rotation causes day and night. It also causes tides, means movements. The waves, heavenly moving waves, are called as tides. It's also caused by the rotation of the earth. Winds and ocean currents also change direction because of the rotation of the earth. So then this was about the rotation. Again, I'll explain in single line. The spinning of the earth on its axis is called rotation. Okay, and the earth rotates anti-clockwise. It takes 1 day to complete its rotation, and rotation leads to day and night. So this was about the rotation. Now, revolution. Revolution is the movement of the earth around the sun in a fixed orbit. Okay, the earth moves around the sun on its own path. That path is called as orbit. This motion of the earth is called revolution. Each time the earth completes one revolution around the sun, a year goes by, and it takes 365 days to complete one orbit around the sun. That is 365 days, and the 1/4 day is 1 year on the earth. So the revolution takes 365 days and rotation takes 24 hours, that is 1 day. The revolution of the earth causes seasons. Students, rotation causes day and night and revolution causes seasons. We mainly have 4 seasons all over the world. Yes, students, you know that 4 seasons, they are winter, summer, spring and autumn. Each of the 4 seasons lasts for around 3 to 4 months. Okay, 3.5 months or 3 to 4 months. So revolution causes the seasons. Revolution takes 365, one half, 1/4 days to complete its revolution. And the revolution causes the seasons. There are 4 main seasons, and each season lasts for 3 to 4 months. The seasons are opposite times of the year in the two hemispheres. When it is summer in the northern hemisphere, it is winter in the southern hemisphere. And when it is winter in the northern hemisphere, it is summer in the southern hemisphere. So it goes on changing, students. So this is the marching of seasons. How seasons are occurred with the help of revolution, students. I explain you again this. See, the seasons are opposite times of the year in the two hemispheres, that is northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. When it is summer in the northern hemisphere, then it is winter in the southern hemisphere. And when it is winter in the northern hemisphere, it is summer in the southern hemisphere, students. So you can see with this help of this diagram of marching of seasons. See why this happens. This Change of season, summer in northern hemisphere, then winter in southern hemisphere. Why it happens? This happens because of the earth is tilted at an angle of 23.5 degrees to its plane rotation. Why it happens? Because earth gets tilted. On the June 21st, the North Pole is tilted towards the sun. Yes, when on 21st June, the North Pole is tilted towards the sun. So the northern hemisphere or the northern half of the earth is getting direct rays from the sun. Yes. What happens? On 21st June, North Pole is tilted towards the sun. And so the northern hemisphere or the northern half of the earth is getting direct rays from the sun. This is the time that northern hemisphere has summer. So at that time northern hemisphere has summer. But at this time the southern hemisphere does not get direct rays from the sun. So it experiences winter. So the southern hemisphere experiences winter because in the northern hemisphere there are sun is tilted near the pole. So it experiences summer. And in southern hemisphere there is winter season. And same way on December 21st. This happens on 21st June. Now on December 21st, it is winter in the northern hemisphere, but it is summer in the southern hemisphere because the southern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun. Yes, on December 21st, it is winter in the northern hemisphere, but it is summer in the southern hemisphere. Why? Because sun is tilted towards the because southern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun. And on March 21st and September 23rd, the beginning of spring and autumn, the earth is neither tilted towards the north pole nor the south pole. Yes. And these are the two dates, students. 21st March and September 23rd. There is no tilting of earth towards the north pole and south pole. Thus, the weather in both the hemisphere is same. So these are the two dates, students, where the duration of day and night is equal. This is called as equinox. The March 21st and September 23rd, these two dates are called as equinox because the duration of day and night is equal on this earth. Yes. And I'll explain you about the leap year also, students. The earth takes about 365 days and 6 hours to complete one revolution. And to avoid confusion arising out of the fraction that is 1/4 day, it was decided that an extra day to the month of February every fourth year would be added. Such a year with 366 days is called a leap year. Yes, students, see. It takes 365 and 1/4 day to complete revolution. So every year 1/4 adds. So in 4 years it completes a one day, and that is added in the month of February after fourth year. So that is called as a leap year. The revolution of the earth around the sun and the inclination of earth's axis are responsible for seasons. The revolution of the earth around the sun and the inclination of earth's axis are responsible for seasons. The change of seasons is directly related to equal length of day and night. So students, this was about the marching of seasons, how seasons are occurred. Students. So students, this was about the lines of